Hi guys, welcome back. So today I'll be showing you how to build a reusable React component. So you may ask, why do you need a reusable React component? So looking at my screen, you can see that I have a heading component here. This component is called, I named it a heading component, and I have about 147 lines of code to generate this interface. So this is what all of those lines of code have generated. But looking at this web page, you'll notice that this page has something in common. I mean, look at the cart. Look at the cart. You see, they have a similarity of having a container that has a text by the left and a container that has an image by the right. As you can see, the only difference is probably in the background color, in the button color, and they're almost the same. So why would any developer in 2023, a React developer, do this? Like copy and paste a code that you can write in a smart way. I mean, if you had a reusable component that all you need to do is just pass properties into your components and assign your properties anything you want. I mean, then dynamic data, you'll be able to achieve the same thing. So that is what we are trying to do. So basically, a reusable component is very ideal when similar functionalities or UI patterns appear in multiple parts of your application, like you can see here. Instead of duplicating code, you can create a reusable component that can be easily shared and reused throughout your project. So stick around and let's get started. I'll show you how you can achieve this. So if you haven't subscribed to this channel, please do. It means a lot and it will help this channel grow. Thank you. So let's get started. So I have another window opened here. So all I have are just the assets to this web page. You can see it is running, but it's just blank. There's nothing there. So I'm going to start building the reusable components now. So all I need is just a template, just one of these. I mean, they are literally the same. It's only the contents that are different. So I need a template that has all of this for my styling. And by the way, I used Tailwind CSS for this project. If you do not know how to install Tailwind CSS to your React project, I have a video which I will drop the link below how you can install Tailwind CSS into your React project. Also, if you want to change your favicon from the default React favicon, I also have a video. I'll put the link below this in the comment section where you can watch how you can do this. So let's get started. First, I would grab this div. This is the div that has this template. So I'll just grab all of this. So let me just copy it and take it to my, so this is, I have a heading page. So this is the heading page. So I'll just like paste all of that here. All of that here. So okay. So for the purpose of this, for building a reusable component, you majorly need to pass in a props to your functional component. So props in React are used to pass data from one component to another. Props make components flexible and reusable because the data passed can be changed and manipulated. When using props, the data passed can be modified to change the UI rendered without having to change any code. So you do not need to change this is going to be like the parents that would give birth to. We have like six features there. This is like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Okay, 5. So this is going to produce 5 other children. So this is basically like the template needed to achieve that UI. So I'll be using props. So instead of having all of this here, I'll like pass in props. So I could name this props dots title, okay, and all of this, just cut all of this out. So data that will be passed in will be dynamic, it doesn't have to be static. So I could do props dot texts. All of these are names that they are not, I just gave them, they are I formed like this name, they're not like a standard. So you can name these props as paragraph, anything that will just make it easy for you to pass in when you're trying to pass in data, so that you're able to recognize what each of these props are doing. So you don't pass in the wrong data into the wrong props property. So for the button, there are not all of them. Okay, some have learn more, others have get started, but we're still going to retain this arrow. As you can see, they all have this like arrow that is pointed up. So not here. Okay, so let me do props dot btn. Okay, that is what I want to call mine. So for this image, so I do not need, because if you remember, this is for this other image, for this assets one is for this part. So I don't want it to be static because it's static here. So I would give it a person a props, and what can I name this? Let me call it image. Okay, let me just say image. So it's easy for me to know the kind of data that will pass in there. So for the styling, if you've noticed, the background colors are quite different. But first, let me pass all of this so you can see the effect of using this reusable component. So this heading, I am going to call this heading here. So I'm just going to heading, okay. So I'm going to call this heading, and the properties that I gave it. So here I have title, I have text, I have btn, and I have image. So I'm going to come here and say title equals this. It's a string. Text, it's also a string. Btn, so btn is going to, okay, it's a string, it's a text. So this is it. But the image is an asset, so I'm just going to pass in the name of the image. So for the title, the first title, so let me come here and just grab here. So the title here is sports. See. So let me just like pass it here. Text is this. This is all of it. So I'm just going to pass in the text here. And the btn, so the text there is learn more. So I'm just going to grab this and put it here. Learn more. And the image is assets one. So I'm just, so I already imported this assets one, so you can see it here. I have some assets already imported in I have an image folder here. So let's see how it looks. So this is how it looks for now. You can see that it's almost there, we're almost there. So that is how the first components would look like. So for me, I usually prefer to structure my props right in the components. So instead of doing props or title, props or text, I'll just like call each of these attributes, like just call them like this. So I'll structure them out of the props and use them directly on the components. For me, it's quite easy. There are times that you might just forget to use the props, but anyone who uses totally fine to work the same way. So let's go and check. As you can see, still working the same way, So we need to put this heading, we need to put it there. So I'll just come to this window, copy this and paste it right in my feature.js. Not in the components we built. You can see this is where we are using it. So these components can be used anywhere. You can decide to put it in your about section. You can decide to put it in any part of your website. Just import it into any part of your web application or website. So you can see we have it here. So, but you would notice that the colors, the background colors of each of these cards are quite different. So we need to pass in the styling for the background color dynamically. So we are going to do that now. So since this is still with CSS, I'll go to, you see how easy it is for me to change my styling, even my styling. Once I have a component, I do not need to directly go to where I am using it. So I'll just go to the component itself and give it a general styling. And any styling I do here would apply to anywhere this component is being used in my website. So I'll come here and render the color dynamically. So instead of having this static BG color, so let me show you what I mean. So let's say I decide to have like a second heading. So a second heading, I could just like paste it here. You can see there are two now, but the colors are the color of this should be like this color, not the same colors. That's what I'm trying to achieve. So I'll need to come here and where I define the components, I'll pass in the styling dynamically. So in Tailwind CSS, this is how to pass in your styling dynamically. Use the curly brace brackets, then you give this a variable name. So let me call this BG. So it's going to be BG. Let me try and close it, closing curly brace, and I'm skip. So I need to call the props, I need to call it here. So I would have to where the component is being used. So I'll have to pass in the value for this. So the BG color for this first one, if you go and check, can you see they are all white because I did not set any color for it. So let me go to this window and grab the color for this here. So if I grab just this and come to this window and paste the color here, can you see that just this has changed to the color I want it to be? So it's exactly this color. So for the second one, we'll go and check the color that is being given to it in the second. So we are done with this div. So let me just copy this H1 and put it just here. So just here, and the text. So let me just do all of that. Copy the heading, title. Don't forget that the heading, all of this have been defined here. So I'm just passing in dynamic data to each of these props. So this text for this, the text is, this is the paragraph where the text is. So I'm just going to grab it here, paste it. So I'll replace with this. And the button, the text on the button, is it still learn more? Yes, it's still learn more. And the background color is going to be, so let me check the BG color here. You see, so the BG, because So can you see the color has changed to what we want it to be? So all of this, can you see that's changed? So we need to change this image to what we have here. So let me check the name that was given to. So the name, okay, is asset2. Don't forget that I already have all my assets declared, imported here. So I'm going to change this to asset2. So you can see it's quite easy. Anybody that looks through your code now would understand. Looking at just this component, so if you just do control and click this, it takes you to the parent component. You can look at this and understand everything that is happening on this end. So your code is easy to read, it's easy to understand, and it's reusable. You can use this component anywhere on this particular application. So I'm just going to do for the rest. So we have for other ones. I'm going to do for the rest for the third, fourth, and fifth one. We've done for just these two, and explain some things after doing for the rest. Yeah, so we are done with the 5 different cards. So let's see how it looks. So yep, and this is it. So this is it. You can see we were able to achieve the same thing with just these few lines of code. So you see how modular, how tidy your code looks now. It's not a lot. It's very easy for anybody to look at your code base and understand. It's not crowded. It's very easy for you as a developer. It's even easy for you to fix your bugs if you have any. So I've noticed that the button colors too were quite different. So it's still the same approach. So what you do is come to your component. You see how it's easy for me to just change one thing, like the whole of these 5, just from one component. So I'm going to do that now. So I'm going to head over to where I have my heading.js, and here, don't forget you are writing code with CSS, and you need to do this. You need to render your background, your styling dynamically. So I'm going to call this button color. You could name it anything you want. Anything you want. So instead of having this, I'm going to have this then escape. So here I haven't called my button color first. That's why I'm getting the error. So in each of the elements, I'm just going to do that and pass in different colors for the button colors. So if you check now, all the colors would not show because I haven't passed anything in yet as their colors. You can see they are not showing. So I'm just going to do that and pass in dynamic colors to the buttons. So let's head over to our picture. So here I'm just going to have like button color, because so the button color for here is the first one. Button color is this. So it's this. I'm just going to grab it. I'm just going to copy, Ctrl C, and go to the window where I have my picture and pass it in here. As you can see, just this have the button color now. So I need to do for the rest. So let me do for the rest. So I'm done passing in all colors to the buttons. As you can see, they all have colors, different colors now. So from this code, you would see that this button has an on-click function on it. So for you to pass this dynamically, so you could also do that with your component. So I'm going to head to this point. So I'm going to do, instead of having this static, so I'm just going to copy this function. Not sure. So I'm just going to call it, what can I call it? Go to. Let me just call it go to. Go to. So it's a function. So I'm going to do this. Go to. It's a function. So here on each of the buttons. So here I'm just going to call so I'm going to declare the function. So anywhere I want it to go. So I'm just going to do const. Let's say go to home. Just to this is where I want this to go to. I might have different functions. So I could do go to feature. So basically you could have different functions passed in as a prop. And so here I'll just have my go to. So it's a function equals go to feature. Here so for the second button, just go to home. Third one could also be go to feature. So I have an error. So here go to home. So let's see. So I have all of this. If I click here, it seems working. So I set this to go to, so for go to home. So anywhere I have go to home, it takes me to a blank Google page. So let me change this to, so just for you to see that it's working, let me look for a random website. Let's say W3 schools. Okay. Let's just say W3 schools. So let me just copy the URL. So I want it to go to W3 schools. So here I have go to feature, it goes to W3 schools. So learn more. So this one goes to W3 schools. Sign up opens a new Google page. This, okay, I think I forgot to put the function on the last one. Let's go and check. Oh, it's for this, so I forgot to add. Sorry. So there is no function here. So it's going to do to, let me put code there. So that was why it wasn't working before. As you can see, it takes me to Google Form. So we successfully replicated all of this using a reusable React component. Please subscribe to this channel, give this video a thumbs up. This really means a lot to the growth of this channel, and I would really appreciate if you would subscribe. Thank you. See you in my next video. Also, I'll be including the link to the source code for this project in the description below. See you. Bye.